Hello everyone, I hope you're doing absolutely amazing. Happy Friday. I wanted to pop in here and just share a little bit of some downloads that have been coming through. The energy right now is extremely potent, is very energized at very different and high vibrational levels. So I kind of just wanted to pop in and one, check in on how are you doing, but two, I want to share with you a couple of things. So as the title says, the power of the mind versus the power of the energy and telekinesis. So I've been called recently to begin to, how would I say, I was going to put heightened, but to begin to explore and expand on my intuitive abilities. Oh, yeah, I have something in my eye. And one of them that I became very curious about was telekinesis. A couple of months ago, I had a client and she was just like, I want to move things. That's like the ultimate goal. And it's so beautiful to have that ability. So I just felt very called to begin to expand on my intuitive abilities, and telekinesis or psychokinesis. It's one of the many abilities that we all have. So for those that may not be familiar with it, is basically moving objects with your mind or your energy. You can actually use both. It's something that I've discovered. And you don't, it's not quite like the movies where you're sitting and it's like move the entire, move the couch by itself, or move the bed, move the car, which we can do, but we are so conditioned in a completely different way that we don't see that possible, like at a core level. And so we have to go through a lot of layers to, remove that false belief, that false perception, and we can begin small. So there are tons of people out there that can actually move bigger objects. One of the most common ones, and if you watch that movie, I think it was called Witchcraft back in the 90s, which was super popular and everybody wanted to be a witch, right? Because they were just rocking it and so rad. It was like to move the pencil, or, stiff as light as a feather, stiff as a board, to make somebody levitate, which is total possible. Like, it's completely possible. But one of the things is the power of the mind and the power of the energy. You can say, Dee, but aren't they the same? And they are and they aren't. And one of the things is, one thing is to know and just kind of know I can do, like to think, can I do this? And the other one is at an energy level. So one comes a little bit more external and the other one is more internal. However, because I've been learning a little bit more about telekinesis lately, and for me, it doesn't come natural. I'm an energy worker and energy comes natural, but a high state of consciousness, so it's like the higher state of consciousness where you can move things, and then the energy that can move things. So if you ever had a Reiki session with me, you can feel the energy flowing through you, right? And and it's a distant session, or even if we're in person, I'm not touching you and you feel the energy. So energy can move, energy can heat up objects, it can move objects. But one of the best ways to do it, so when you do it with energy, I haven't tried this, so I'm not very sure, but they say that when you move objects with energy, you can get very tired. You can get a little bit more depleted. When you're moving objects with your consciousness, with that high state of consciousness, and you don't, it doesn't pull anything from you. I haven't tried that, so I'm still learning what are my abilities with telekinesis. I have not been able to move anything, to be completely honest, just yet, because one of the things that I'm doing is to begin to prepare myself to be in that state of full consciousness. For some of you, it may come completely natural and you just get and start, you're like, oh my gosh, I can just focus on this, we become one and I can move it. Or I just focus on this with my hands and it becomes easier to just shift and move any objects. ways to start with telekinesis is, so there's what they call, I think it's a paper wheel, where you have like a cork and you put a needle, and then you have like a little square paper that is folded in different pieces. You extend it and it kind of just sits on top, and with your hands you just kind of direct where it wants to go, but you're focusing in your consciousness, but you're coming from a space that is very open and very trusting, and you begin to shift it. The thing with that, a lot of people are like, well, the energy in your hands, you're opening up, it's what is moving it, and not like your mind, right? The power of a high state of consciousness. I don't know, I haven't tried the wheel. And then you can have aluminum foil, cut a little bit of aluminum foil and begin to move that. That I began to experience yesterday, and I was just feeling into what is it that would work for me or not. So ways to begin to discover between the power of the mind and the power of the energy is to train yourself. Just like anything, if this does not come easy for you, begin to train. Just preparing for a marathon, you're gonna go running, right? There'll be some people that are like, I can just go and run a marathon, and that's who they are, and that is okay. So one of the things that I begin to do, and it's actually really, really cool to do, is to strengthen your intuition, to strengthening your power, and when you're going to begin to explore telekinesis, it is important to trust yourself too, to believe in it, to believe in yourself. So one of the things that I began to work with were just to get a deck of cards, and I just kind of like shuffle them, and then I will feel into the cards, and then I will be, like red, and I would just kind of flip them and see, and just allow my intuition to tell me what card it is. And from there, I will count them. How many did I get correct, right? And it's not a guessing game. So you can just kind of guess. I guess this or that, but really tapping in. So for me, if I do like a red card, yesterday, especially, I can feel that there was a different softness versus if I did a black card. It had it almost felt, for me, it felt like metal. So this is a great way to begin to work with your intuition and trust yourself more. Another thing with telekinesis that you can begin to practice is meditation. So meditation would be, meditation would be a great place for you to start and come into that high level of consciousness in order for you to begin to do something else, something that excites you, and it has to come from within. So there's people, like I said, you may be very gifted and your ability is wide open. So moving objects with your consciousness or your energy may become extremely natural to you. But if that is some ability that you're still developing, exercising that muscle, it's huge. It's absolutely huge. So again, you can begin by, sitting in meditation. And then one of the big things, and this is something that I've spoken with a couple of clients about before I even started to work with telekinesis, before I got the call for that, it's like they were just so eager to begin to move things with their power of their hands and the power of their mind. But sometimes if we are coming from a space of ego, it's not going to happen. If we're coming from even a subconscious state of being ungrounded, it's just not going. We continue to block ourselves. So it is highly important. So telekinesis is to move objects, right, with our consciousness, our energy. But are we in a space that is clear enough? Are we in a space of consciousness in ourselves that we are clear? Every action, are we present with every action we take with others in our lives? Are we surrounded by that state of ease and flow? Or are we angry, or are we holding any resentment, or are we into some habits or some toxic patterns that are not the best? And that is just not, it's going to create way more resistance. So we need to be from a state of fluidity, of open heart and fluidity. The portal of the heart is everything. Or force. We can come with it at, with force. We have to flow. Absolutely. It has to flow. Absolutely. And anything in life, if we force it, doesn't feel good. So allowing yourself to come from that state of fluidity. So before you begin to practice telekinesis, check in with the self. Maybe it comes completely natural and you're like, Dee is all messed up. She, it has nothing to do with her. She, I was angry, or I was this, and then I got home and I was able to move that, and it was completely natural, and that was my thing. So she's wrong. That's fine. That may be you. Your ability may be, all heightened and up there. Wonderful. Also look in your life, what other places are, maybe that's really big in flow, but what else it may not be in flow. So for all of our abilities to truly heighten, to truly come together and develop, that's why you go part by part by part by part. It is highly important for us to develop these beautiful abilities through holding stillness, through meditation. It's the way we find that path back to ourselves. We're all just remembering. So allow yourself to go out there and get really weird, okay? Allow yourself to go out there and get really weird and begin to play with this. Begin to play with the idea of, like, why not? And why not? The fear we have is the fear of judgment. And it doesn't matter how much people judge. Think of the worst things that have happened in your life. And if you were judged for them or not, you survived them. You didn't die. You overcame every obstacle, even the obstacles that you did not think you could overcome. Nothing can break you unless you decide it can break you. So exercises like telekinesis and all of that, just sitting in meditation, heightening your intuitive abilities, begin to play with that. And again, I'm always like, get weird, because being weird is the best thing. It really allows us to remember to come back to the self. And here in the future, I'll be talking more about the remembrance codes, which last night, I actually did a new code on my arm. So you may be able to see it. And it's actually a pretty big one, this one. And we're just coming back home, and we're being called, all of us in this moment, to amplify our state of consciousness, to expand our consciousness and our intuitive abilities. So all of you out there that are feeling the itch for something new, this is your call and validation for everything you're thinking about. Go do it. Put it out there. Who cares if 20,000 people have done it? Go try it your way, because you're doing it with your energy behind. You're doing it because you desire it, and you see it, and you can feel it so much that you can taste it. And just allow yourself to be with yourself. We come to this life, we're born alone, quote unquote. My guides always say, like, you're not really alone. The room is full of us with you, right? But come alone. And we leave alone. Same thing. They're like, quote unquote, they're like, we're ready there to bring you and welcome you. Yes. Oh, I'm loving it that it resonates. Because we're all connected. That's where we are, right? We're all connected. We're all one. So we always think of the same things. We're under the same wavelength. It's pinging all of us. So pay attention to your dreams too. Pay attention to your dreams, what's coming up for you. Especially next week, we have the new moon and a solar eclipse. And every time we have the new moon, solar eclipse, portals open. There's portals everywhere, but portals do open. And when this happens, it's just simply an opportunity to explore, to expand our consciousness and dive into different places of our lives, spaces that are within that we can explore. you will be surprised how much you can learn about yourself during a full moon or a new moon, just basically any day. But the energies just heighten around the new moon, the full moon, the quarter moon, all the time. Portals are always open. So the power of the mind. And on 6/6/2, when is 6/6? On Sunday, on June 6th. Perfect. So it just gives us the opportunity to do something for yourself. It's a Sunday. Allow yourself, to go hold stillness in any way possible. In any way possible, just hold a little bit of stillness and notice what that's showing, what is coming up for you every time you come into a beautiful center. And allow yourself to just, The power of the breath it's huge. The breath really anchors us. So if you're like, Dee, I can't meditate, I don't know how, I just encourage you to take a breath, a very conscious breath, intentional breath, and exhale complete with the mouth open. Sigh it out, feel that resonance through the body because we're vibrational beings, and just notice how the body feels and if you're holding on any resistance. Absolutely. It is so inviting to depth and learning. Absolutely. Portals are great for that. And I don't think we'll ever finish learning about ourselves. There's always something new to discover, and that really excites me. That I'm like, ooh, new level of weirdness, new level of, consciousness. I didn't know this could happen. Maybe there's a little bit more of astral travel. Maybe there's certain things popping up for you. So allow yourself to discover what is next for you. And begin to play with the telekinesis and literally grab a deck of cards and just begin to trust into your intuition. Boom, boom, Begin with the colors, red, black, whatever the color, maybe red and blue, right? But just the deck, just like red, black. And then when you feel that and feel into the vibration of the object, you can begin to be like, red of hearts, red queen of hearts, and begin to dive into that opportunity. So give yourself the chance to explore. And once you're doing it, and even if you're already practicing telekinesis with the foil or the paper wheel, or even a pencil, maybe even a light pencil that is not something that is not too heavy. Notice if is this more my consciousness or is this more my energy? Because you are strong in both, and they are connected, and at the same time they're just kind of interwoven in between, but they are not connected. I know it probably sounds like or gibberish, it doesn't make sense, but it's gonna make sense to those who needs to make sense. But believe me, they're connected and they're not. So just notice what's coming up for you, and go practice. Let me know what how it feels. Let me know if anything. You're just going to strengthen your intuitive abilities. Oh, and one thing, when you begin to practice telekinesis, please, I encourage you to not give up on yourself. Okay? And if suddenly you're becoming frustrated, leave it on the side. Just put it on the side. Go do something else. Go shake it off. Go dust it off. Go do something else. But don't be discouraged. Give yourself a break, right? You're just starting this idea. It's like you plant, some corn on the ground. You're not like, hey, corn, I planted you 2 hours ago. Why aren't you coming out yet? Why are you coming out? Because it's a process. It's going to take time. Maybe you get that in terms of corn, but it's still a process. So give yourself permission and the opportunity to give yourself some time and enjoy it. If at any moment, this is the other thing, if at any moment you're not enjoying it, it's not becoming fun, again, that creates resistance and tension and that force that it's not going to support you moving forward. So just allowing that welcoming energy to flow through. And so let me know how you do. I'm going to continue to play with my cards and continue to practice my own telekinesis. And soon enough, we all will be moving couches and cars and things. Totally impossible. All I want to do is really teleport. I would love to teleport right now to Hawaii and be there with some friends. That would be the easiest. And we'll cut off the middlemen of airplanes and health risks. So anything and everything is possible, right? I can't remember who said it, but if you believe you can or you believe you can't, either way you are right. So don't forget, either way you are right. And life is all about what you make it and interpretation. So you have the power. Do what you desire. And there's only right now. We only have moments. We don't even know if we have hours or days or whatever it may be. We only have moments. Tomorrow is not here. And yesterday, it's gone. So all we have is today. And today, I love you all so very much. And tomorrow, I will love you too. I will have to check in for tomorrow though, because we need to make sure that tomorrow is here. That we're living tomorrow. All right, well, I hope you got maybe some tips. If you're already very familiar with telekinesis, please leave me some comments. Give me your tips. Share your tips with me, because that's my journey where I'm at, and I'm excited to continue to explore and continue to heighten that intuition. This is the perfect time to do it. And if you saw my video from a few days ago, or was it last week? I can't remember, but there was a big message for June. June is an important month. There's a lot of decision making coming in the month of June, and it's actually going to support us through the year and longer than that. I can't remember now. I have to tap in, but it's very important. And one of the best things is to come from a place of peace when making decisions. Okay, coming from a place of peace. So maybe, I'm going to just give a quick example of like how to experience a place of peace. So let's say that you have money in the bank, all the bills are paid, your kids' school tuitions are paid, everything that needs to be paid is paid. You have a roof over your head, the mortgage is paid, car payments are done, everybody's being taken care of, and you have some money in the bank still for anything that you desire. At that moment, and every relationship is going flawless, at that moment you're feeling pretty peaceful. But let's say that everything's kind of falling into place, but you're still stressing about getting the mortgage is not paid yet, or the medical bill's not paid. That is not a place of peace. You're going to be making a decision from that state. It's versus a state of everything is paid, all my relationships are flowing pretty well, I have extra money in the bank, versus things are getting paid maybe, but there's no extra money in the bank, so my car better not break down because I don't have any money for it. Or nobody can, crash into me, because that will be really bad. So there's from those two different places. One is coming from a lot of a place of peace where you're feeling you can make a very conscious and grounded decision, versus a place where it's a little bit more volatile and ungrounded because we have all this extra worry. So when we don't have any worry around us, we can make better conscious decisions. When we have worry around us, we can still make pretty good decisions, but we're not coming from a place of peace. And so there's just some little food for thought in there. But I hope you're having a beautiful day. I will be popping in here in the near future, and for right now, that's what I have. So have a wonderful weekend, and please share any tips you have on telekinesis, mind versus energy. I would love to hear it. And if you begin to practice, I would love to see your progress. We're on this journey together. All right, I love you all so very much. Have a great one.